All right, folks, welcome to the zone. We're dealing with back-to-back 3-0 defeats on top of a whole host of defeats throughout the entire season. It's frankly not good enough, is it? And I think one of the main contributors to this, I'll be honest, is the 10 years of fans that just keep turning up to the ground. They keep buying the merchandise. They keep supporting completely crap, mediocre football for completely crap, mediocre owners. You can blame Ten Hag. You can blame transfers. You can blame the Glazers for not putting enough money in the stadium, for not hiring the right people, for doing crap contracts. All of this stuff is very valid, which we'll get onto. But if you turn up every single week and you're in the mega store and you're funding them, they're never going to leave. They're never going to leave. When people are at the ground in the yellow and green scarves having a sing-song saying Glazers out for a minute, it doesn't actually do anything. It doesn't do anything. You might think it does and you wish it would, but unfortunately it doesn't. The only way they'll leave is if you do like a Blackpool or a Milan, where you empty the ground and everybody that goes to the ground is like seen as the enemy of the club, because eventually the Glazers would go, oh, this isn't actually making any money anymore. This isn't a viable business. It's time to sell. But they're not doing that, because obviously whether you lose 3-0 to City, they're thinking, wow, we've just lost 3-0 to our rivals and it could have been about 8-0 and we're playing Maguire and Evans, who should have been out of the club 8 years ago. One of them was. He's had to come back. Maguire, five years he's been in. How is it or something? He should have been gone a while. And, you know, same with Lindelof really as well. We'll get into all of that. But when they get thrashed 3-0 by Man City after losing 7-0 to Liverpool and stuff like this, and then it's a Carabao Cup game on a Wednesday night and that entire stadium's full and there's pictures of people with full megastore bags, obviously the Glazers are happy. They've got their money. So unless they stop getting money, nothing will change. So we'll run through, am I Ten Hag in or out? My initial reaction is, yeah, get rid of Ten Hag, frankly, because he's proven he's not got the stature to make these decisions, such as you lose 7-0 to Liverpool and he picked the exact same team the next week. That the game should have just been, you lot don't play next week. All of you players don't play. And I'm playing 11 new players, and I don't care if we lose that game 10-0, you're not coming on the pitch. What ends up happening is, like tonight, he benches Rashford and Bruno finally, and then he has to try get them on after like 60 minutes because he's thinking, oh, we're panicking, what should we do? There's a lack of authority. However, I'm not stupid or naive. It's actually impossible for him to do the how do I want to call it, like the totalitarian, we rule the club, I rule the club, or whatever I say goes, because the people above him are doing bad contracts. People are thinking the Glazers are bad owners because of like the money they put in and all of this. No, the reason they're bad owners is because they've handed the football operation to a bunch of incompetent clowns that have no idea what they're doing. So look at this squad, right? We'll pull up the squad because there's no point talking about the game. The game in both games were absolutely blasted and well and truly deserved to lose. In fact, if I'm being honest, we should have lost every single game this season. And you'll say, what? Seriously, watch the games back. We could have lost every single game this season and they would have been just results. So let's have a look at these transfers, yeah, and have a look at what's going on. I remember when we lost to Everton, I think it was 4 or 5-0 under Ollie, he said, I'll still be here and these players won't. Well, actually, because they've been offered such massive contracts and they've been offered such staggering wages, they won't leave. And what's brilliant about the Glazers, if you don't realise, is what they do is they offer them this massive contract, so they stay. Then they're waiting for a purple patch of a player to renew. And a few people haven't really picked up on this and they don't quite realise what's going on, but this is what's happening. They wait for a player like, say, Rashford or Dalot to, oh, he's not good enough. Remember Ten Hag wanted a right back? He wanted a proper right back. Wan-Bissaka, he tried, couldn't do his philosophy. Dalot, we know Dalot's not good enough. And What they do is they're like, yeah, Ten Hag, we're going to get you a right back. Don't worry. We're going to get you a right back. Just keep playing Dalot. And then out of the blue, one of these players will have a purple patch, which all players do. And then they trigger the extension because then the fans think, oh, well, Dalot's playing really well. I'm not upset he's extended. And then what that means is when it comes to the window, Dalot and Wan-Bissaka, they can't be sold because they're on new contracts, new wages, and there's loads of years left. And now they can't go out and buy anyone. And the fact is the Glazers don't want to buy anyone. Look at Martial. They keep renewing Martial because it's easier to pay Martial like 100k a week and just say there's a striker at the club than it is to pay someone 100k a week and then sign them for, say, 90, 100 million like a Harry Kane. Obviously, Harry Kane would be paid more wages, but the point is they're renewing these people so they don't have to buy people, and people don't seem to realise that they're doing the renewal during the purple patch so there's no backlash. Now, into the squad, Altay Bayende, a Turkish goalie, I believe. No idea if he's any good. Tom Heaton, every club has a third choice goalkeeper, but come on. Andre Onana could be good enough, but he's been asked to play out from the back. Sorry, he's not been asked to play out from the back. He's asked to hoof it because he's got no defenders in front of him. Let's look at the defenders. Victor Lindelof, there was a 4-0 defeat at Everton, and it was like, some of these players won't be here, but I will. Now we've got Victor Lindelof still here. Terrible fucking player. I don't care what people say. He's fucking awful. He wouldn't get in any title winning top Prem team. Harry Maguire. I actually think Harry Maguire, although I say Harry should be gone, Harry is actually okay as some sort of third choice, fourth choice centre back at a club like Man U, or you play a lot of games at a lower level club. I don't dislike Harry Maguire that much, to be honest. He's been made the scapegoat of the reason we're playing crap football is because of Harry Maguire, but you've seen him in and out of the team. We still play crap football anyway. Martinez, no idea if he's going to adapt to the Prem, but he could play a through ball, and that was very helpful, but he's always injured. Malacia always injured. Then we've got Serge Reguilon, some Tottenham fucking reject who's awful. I don't care what people say, he's awful. Should not be at the club. Rafael Varane is a sick note and permanently injured. Dalot and Wan-Bissaka we know aren't good enough, but Wan-Bissaka tried a little bit to improve his skill with a one-on-one coach. He came into the team, and that's when Wan-Bissaka should have become the backup right back, and then you buy a proper one. And Luke Shaw, he's been here for ages, and I don't rate the guy one bit. He has purple patches, but he's been here about a decade. He's won literally no leagues. He's never been a one consistent throughout the whole season. He's either good at attacking and then he lets his man beat him at the cross, or he's really good at defending, but his attacking drops. Like, he's okay, but come on. Then you've got Johnny Evans, who should not be at the club. He's just past it. And then you've got Brandon Williams and Fernandes on loan, who aren't good enough. And in midfield, you've got Mason Mount, a Chelsea reject who was not performing, and we spent 60 million on him for a position that will already have Eriksen and Bruno. Even if Mason Mount was really good, the transfer makes no sense. Then you've got Amrabat. What did Fergie say? You want to be careful about signing people in the World Cup because playing for your country and all of that's very different. This guy went on strike. Nobody tried to bid for him except Man U. Nobody wanted him. Literally no other club wanted him, and we've ended up with him. He's okay, but really he's not good enough. Bruno Fernandes is a disgusting player. He's a disgusting player. He's the type of guy that when you lose 6-0 or whatever it was to Spurs, he said, well, I did score. I guess penalties don't count. That's his mentality. As long as if he gets an assist, he's done his job. It doesn't matter about the performance. It doesn't matter that his first touch when he came on today was a 70-yard crossfield ball where he lost the ball immediately to Newcastle. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter against Man City that his touch, he tried to do like a fucking Travella fucking reverse Rabona pass, gave the ball away and they scored. It doesn't matter because one day I might get an assist. Moan. Crap captain. Don't rate the guy. Christian Eriksen's all right, but he can't do more than 60 minutes. And we offered a guy that literally died on the pitch a 3-year contract. I've seen Ahmad, no idea if he's any good. He's injured. Yes, he did well for Sunderland, but it's a different ball game playing for Man U. Casemiro's in there on his own. You've got people like Van de Beek still there because he's on too much money and he won't move. Scott McTominay's on too much money and he won't move. You've got Palestri, who's probably not good enough but never gets given a chance because for some reason he rates Anthony. And then you've got Hannibal, who's incredibly rash with the ball and rash with his tackles, but we're meant to be excited because he's a young player. You don't get bonus points for winning with young players. Forwards, Anthony Martial should be nowhere near the club. Marcus Rashford has... People think Marcus Rashford is a brilliant player that dips in confidence. Marcus Rashford is an awful player that has purple patches. Rasmus Højlund, you can't judge him. Garnacho, he's hit and miss. Anthony's absolutely horrific with a shit mentality to top it off. Jadon Sancho, whether you like him or not, he couldn't even apologise to a manager for not trying in training. You've got Shora Tere, he's just a youth player. And then our best player is Mason Greenwood, who the club found innocent, and he's not allowed to play football. So that's kind of the state of Man U. It's an absolutely terrible squad. Now on to Ten Hag. Should Ten Hag go? The problem is, when you say Ten Hag should go, I can fully get behind you and agree with you, but this is the problem. This is the cycle. So sacking Ten Hag won't work for this reason. Ten Hag, Jose, Ollie, whoever, they come in and they say, this isn't good enough, we're doing it my way, and if you don't do it my way, you're not playing. They then try. They try the Jose way, the Van Gaal way, the Ollie counter-attack, the Ten Hag way, and you have a decent first season. Then they go to the owners and they say, look, there's a load of players that either don't want to try, they don't fit my system, they can't do the tactics, and we need some proper players. These are the ones I want to phase out and sell. These lot are okay, but they should probably be the backups, and then we'll get some first team players, and then these lot can fight it out. They say, no, Martial's just signed a new contract, he don't want to leave. Lindelof's on too much money, he don't want to leave. Luke Shaw's on too much money, he don't want to leave. Rashford's on too much money, he don't want to leave. Bruno's a captain, he has to play. Van der Beek's on too much money, he don't want to leave. Martial's on too much money, he don't want to leave. Sancho's on mega wages, he's kicking up a fuss and he's going to try out last year. So then you go into the second season and you try to do the same thing and they just go, fuck off, mate, I'm not doing it this time. And they down tools. And then you've got nobody to play. And then you end up in a situation like last night where Ten Hag, he picks his second string team almost. He drops Rashford. He drops Bruno. He rejigs his defence around and it's like, well, these lot of defenders aren't good enough. The right winger's not good enough. The striker's not good enough, Martial, and then what do? Then you have to resort back to the players that they're sort of trying, but you still know that they're not quite good enough, like Bruno and Rashford. And then you just can't manage the squad. You can't manage the squad because you can't get rid of the people you want to get rid of, and you can't manage a club like that. You tell somebody, hey, go and do this, and they don't fancy it or they're not good at it, that you should be dropped. But at Manchester United, you just have this set squad that you have to work with. Now, people will say, oh, well, Ten Hag signed a load of these players, so that's his fault. It's not the Glazers. Well, Malassi is injured. Martinez is injured, right? He hasn't got any new defenders. He didn't want Casemiro. He wanted Frankie de Jong. He probably didn't want Amrabat. He probably wanted another midfielder. He might have wanted Mount to phase out Bruno, but you're never going to sell Bruno. Who knows? He wanted to get rid of Van der Beek. He wanted to get rid of Scott McTominay and Harry Maguire, but because they wouldn't leave, he's now having to G them up and been like, Harry's a really important player and Scott McTominay understands the club, but we all know he wanted to get rid of him, but he wasn't able to because of the amount of money they were on. So it just becomes this absolutely impossible task of trying to manage Manchester United and manage a squad. Can you imagine if Pep Guardiola said to Joe Hart, I want you to play out from the back, and Joe Hart couldn't do it? And still to this day, Pep Guardiola was playing with Joe Hart in net, trying to play out from the back. It would be a nightmare, right? it's not that the Glazers aren't giving money, it's that the Glazers are handing over the football control to a bunch of morons, giving out ridiculous contracts, making it unable to shift players on and off. Not all transfers will be good. Maybe you got the Anthony transfer wrong, right? Maybe the club got the Anthony transfer wrong. You sometimes just get transfers wrong, like, say, Pepe at Arsenal, or there's been other ones at Man City that haven't quite worked out, but they're very quickly shifted on and forgot about. Remember, they had Danilo, they had Bravo, they had these other players that they just very quickly shifted on. Okay, get rid. Like Pepe, I think they ended up paying off his contract to get rid. We're never going to pay off someone's contract to get rid of them. So it's an impossible task. If you sell Ten Hag, the new manager will come in, there'll be a bounce, and in 2 years' time, we'll be in the exact same position again. It's absolutely pointless. And also, don't let the players get away with it. If you sack Ten Hag, what you're saying is, if you say Ten Hag out, you're via proxy saying, these players are good enough, and if we had a different manager, we'd win the league with these players. We're not. These players are absolutely shit. They're shit and they don't even try. So it's not Ten Hag out. It's we want a new football control team, directors and all of that. We obviously want the Glazers to go, but these fucking morons turning up to the ground will fund them forever. So we've got to try change the control of the ground. And the players need to go. You need to let them run out their contracts. You need to let Ten Hag sit here and let the contracts run out. Because they're stinking up the place, these players. The pathetic mentality.